hour 45.
No way.
Yeah. This guy was so nervous beforehand, bro.
I was low key. I was like, what do I say, man?
Yeah. During the car ride, he was like, this is going to be kind of crazy. But like, that's the thing with these false expectations appearing real.
That's
fear.
true.
That's what that is. And it's just an illusion. Like you just never know like what it's going to happen.
Hour 45. That's
how
crazy.
fucking fun it's going to be.
Yeah.
When instead you're thinking like, what if I mess up? What if like all your thoughts were on the negative, but just doing it and you realized, oh wait, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Hello everybody. Welcome to the Sun 14 podcast. I'm here with Noah. He's one of my closest friends in high school and one of my longest friends through pretty much all of it. Right? But it's been like what 3 years since we've seen each other.
It's definitely been a minute. Low key, it's not a good excuse to use like college as not hitting each other up and stuff. But I mean, we're here now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This was like the first time I met you after 3 years, which was crazy to
So
to
get
think
a little
about
sad,
it.
bro.
Yeah. I know.
I low key just want to like you miss a lot of people in high school, but like even though like social media, like you're still like tight with them. I feel like I need to like definitely reach out to more people for sure.
Yeah. I remember, no, it wasn't even in high school when we met. I think it was middle school.
CV.
Yeah, CV. Bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to remember that PE class, and no, you were in a PE class, physical education, and I was like a TA for the PE class. And I used to like open up everybody's locker rooms and shit. Remember that shit?
Oh my gosh. Was that 7th or 8th grade year?
I think 8th grade year.
Yeah, Mr. Hempel.
Hempel. Yeah.
You know
I
what's
forgot
crazy?
that guy's name.
So he was the quarterback coach at VP.
Yeah.
And like he kind of like took me under his wing 8th grade year.
Mm-hmm.
And I never thought that like me being like super tight with the PE teacher, like now that's what I'm planning on doing. Yeah. It's like kind of crazy, bro.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He kind of like throughout high school, like just always checking up on me and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely like a big mentor. I don't keep in contact with him today, but like I should let him know, low key, like, yo, like I'm about to be a PE teacher too. It's kind of crazy.
That's crazy, man. I mean, yeah, I remember I would be like the TA for that class. Like, I don't even know why they would have a TA for PE.
I remember.
Which
it was like, bugging though, huh?
Yeah. I did nothing. I literally just stood there for fucking an hour, and that was like my class. I got an A, whatever. But I would just, and I think your PE class, like all the PE classes would go out and do their shit, and I would just be chilling there. And then afterwards, like you'd be the one saying like, yo, open up my locker, right? You didn't want to like go through all of the different shit.
I think
and I just opened the key, like with the key up. Yeah.
Bro, I never knew how to use like a lock properly. Like to this day, like even when I go to the gym, I don't use a lock.
Really?
Just because like I have such a hard time.
Yeah.
But that's not a good excuse, bro. Like people can take my stuff just like when I go on vacation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Talk about that shit real quick, though. What happened?
So, like, went to Rosarito, like, went to go see, because Quavo and Tory Lanez performed. Mm-hmm. Like,
over spring break.
Yeah, legit, like, 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And it was legit the first night, bro. And so, me and my friends, we kind of, like, scooted up our way to, like, the front of the stage.
Yeah.
And my friends were kind of in the front. And, like, I don't like being in tight spaces. Like, I just... Like my body my body temperature gets real high real quick. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I like kind of stood back from my friends. They're probably like maybe like 6 feet in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I record, like I'm recording Quavo, and he's going like, I think he's playing like Working Me. Yeah. And I put my phone in my pocket, and like I told you, like they actually replaced it with a smashed red Solo cup.
What?
I swear to you.
They replaced it?
Because they probably didn't want me to feel it at all. Uh-huh. So like
just to have like something there that you might think that that's your phone, right?
Yeah, but I felt it, like the weight difference.
His hand, you felt his hand?
No, I felt like a tug on my pocket.
Oh, okay.
And so when I felt that tug, that's when immediately I grabbed the guy. Mm-hmm. And like he spoke Spanish, but like it was like to where I can understand. Yeah. And I was like, yo, like show me your pockets. Mm-hmm. And he's like, and he showed me and he had nothing. Yeah. And so And then we were in the middle of the sand. And so I knew,
and there were like other people around.
There was other people around and everyone was being cool. Like they were trying to help me find everything with like the light and stuff.
So was this like in front of a stage? You said it was in front of a stage, right? And so
it
like
was in front of a stage, and then the
people there. Like I'm thinking, how'd they get in? First off, like, you know.
Well, they probably like took the risk of buying a ticket just to steal several phones.
Really?
Because the following day, my friend got his phone taken too. Damn. But I don't know, going forward, if I want to keep my phone in like a wallet case for that reason. Yeah. Because it's convenient. Like, how do you feel about carrying a wallet? Like, this is like
that's like the strap, right? Or
no, it's like the flip case, the wallet with like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it's it's basically like just like a straight up phone case. But like when it flips, you can put like cards and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what you had. That's what I had,
because I was convenient, and then like when I'm lazy at home, I want to watch like YouTube or something. You can prop it up. Just chilling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and everything's there. Like I think most people agree that they don't want to have that many things in their pocket all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to have just like one thing that you could pay with stuff, that you could use your phone. Yeah. You have your ID in there. You're like, you check all the boxes with one thing.
Yeah. Apple Pay is so clutch now.
Yeah. But the thing is, when you lose that one thing, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. I mean,
in all directions.
I was smart enough to like leave like my big bills back at like where we were staying.
Yeah.
But still, like, I lost everything. And so the rest
Plus you were in Mexico. Like, you had, do you need a passport to get back? Right.
Yeah.
So
I left my passport.
You left the passport. At least that was safe. Yeah. Like,
imagine I would have to like.
Yeah. In 20 years, it's probably going to be like on your phone, like a passport on the phone type of shit. And that'll fuck a lot of people.
Do you think so? In 20 years? I think sooner.
Sooner?
If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I think some states are having the driver's license already on the phone. Like how, you know how Apple Wallet has those, you could put credit cards and airplane tickets. Yeah. Now the ID.
I wish that was now.
Really?
Because now I have to wait. Like, I think my ID comes in like 3 days.
Oh, okay.
So I'm still waiting, bro.
Really?
Yeah. But,
did you have to go to the DMV for that? Or? Yeah.
So I'm an idiot and I didn't have my debit card.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the DMV.
Yeah.
Like thinking that like I can just get a quick exchange.
Yeah, they don't do that.
No, they're like, oh, it's like $37. I'm like, I don't have my debit card. I'm like, yo, I just stood in this line for an hour. I didn't like think about the whole method of coming into a DMV. And so I waited in the line for 45.
You gotta have like paperwork too, right?
Yeah, I had the paperwork. But I didn't have a debit card. And like the debit card literally came hours later.
Really?
It was horrible.
Wow. And they only accept debit card, or what was it? Like
or like I didn't have cash.
Okay.
So like I didn't go to the bank. Like I could have been way smarter about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But luckily about like that whole Little Rosarito trip, I was surprised. Like I kind of handled it in a way that like I wish I could have handled it like situations like that before.
Yeah.
Because prior Noah, low-key probably would have like ruined the trip. You know what I mean?
Been stressing about it.
Yeah, like probably would have like went back to the Airbnb, would have chilled, like stuff like that. Like kind of being in my own space. But I don't know, I kind of like adapted to like
it is what it is.
It is what it is, and like shit happens. You know what I mean? And like there's nothing I can control out of it. The only thing I can control is like how I emotionally react, and I can like enjoy like
that's
the moment.
That's a good perspective to have.
Yeah, and like enjoy the moment with my friends. And the next day, like it was probably the coolest day the next day, because simple stuff, like you wouldn't think like all the time people think like, especially our age, party, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes just like going out to dinner with your friends, like that's what we did. We went out to like this Mariscos place. It's like a seafood spot.
Yeah.
And we were just chilling, we were vibing. And then after that, we went back to like the venue, and Tory Lanez was performing. And bro, he crowd surfed the entire crowd.
Really?
Like legit, it was probably like a football field long. And he did that.
And back onto the stage.
And back onto the stage.
Really? That's crazy.
I mean, it was a little difficult. Like the security guard needed. But he like got on top of like the second floor and started throwing ones and stuff. Really? I'm like, yo, Tory Lanez is kind of lit.
Crazy.
It was originally supposed to be Shaq.
Oh,
DJ Diesel.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would like react with Shaq. I would rather want him to like shoot a free throw or something.
I don't know. Shaq's pretty fun though. Like I see in the videos of him DJing, he knows how to do his shit.
I think he does a lot of EDM, huh?
EDM, yeah. That's like his biggest thing.
What do you like EDM?
I like it if I don't just like listen to it on my headphones either.
Yeah.
Right.
Or what about like the gym?
Not really. I don't really play music in the gym at all. Like,
really?
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
I'm kind of like, I want to learn perspective like that. Yeah. Like, why, and like, how does it help?
Because I don't want to have anything in my pockets.
Okay.
Right. Or like anything, like no chain, no, like I'm just like want to be like just focused on the weights itself. Like, and that's the second thing. Like with music, it definitely helps. Like if you have like a good song going, you could just get like some type of energy from the song that's playing, right? Yeah. And let's say you're doing bench press and you have that song going and you're bumping your head and you're going for your PR, and you know it'll help you get there. But with no music, just like complete silence, you know, other people are doing their shit. You're not like focused on them. It kind of takes more energy for you to get to that place, right? Like your perspective has to change. You had to hype yourself up by the thoughts instead of the music.
Oh,
right.
That's a good lesson. Like so no one's explained it to me like that before. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So would you kind of say it's like almost like a mental challenge for you? It's a mental challenge.
But now it's been like super long since I've had music. It's kind of normal to me. Like if I have headphones on, it feels weird, you know?
That's crazy. So for me, I would like the gym for me is kind of like my, not escape, but like my mind goes blank.
Yeah.
And I like that sometimes.
For me too. It's like, just like it's meditation.
It's like meditation. Yeah. Like get a break from school, work, like anything else, stress with life. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but like music helps me like calm down, slows down my heart rate. Cause you know how some people, they like prefer like heavy heart rate, like heavy, like pre-workout, like before get crazy in their head.
I've had people like, I've noticed people that listen to like death metal music.
That's insane to me. Yeah. That's insane. I don't know.
They're like screaming right at you.
Yeah. You know? Like a little bass drop here and there is cool. Yeah. But like, I'm like, I can't vibe to that. No, but like, it kind of like puts me in like a mental state where like calms me down.
Yeah.
And that's where like same kind of perspective. It puts me in like, I'm just focusing on the weights.
Yeah. On the weights.
And getting it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I don't think that you need like or I'm not saying that you shouldn't not have music, but for me personally, it just gets me to that place of there's nothing else my attention goes towards, right? That's why I don't even bring my phone. Like I leave my phone in the car, and so
you leave the phone in the car.
No Instagram, no nothing, no text, no call, no nothing. Like complete isolation.
You don't want any distractions.
No distractions at all. And so when you're left with that, like especially in this current day and age where everybody's on their phone, everybody is connected, right? Like everybody's just trying to be on this wave of what everybody's doing, and you escape from that for like an hour, and you just get to handle with your thoughts, you know, go through different thoughts and just put all your energy on what you're doing now in the present moment.
Yeah.
You can't do anything else. Like you're just here and that's it.
It's true. Like,
and it's hard to get to that place a lot. And especially nowadays, like it's hard to do that.
I can see why like the execution and the workout too, like, cause you know how some people be there for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And it's mostly, let's be honest, they're on their phone.
They're on their phone. Yeah.
Or like
I've seen a lot of people just sit there at, you know, any machine, sit down, and then they're just on their phone.
I got a quick story for you.
Really?
Like it was like the first time at school, they just made this new arc, but before that they kind of like had like, it would be on this turf, and they brought weights during COVID.
Oh, okay.
Cause like they wanted like outside, like less germs spread inside like a closed area. And there was this guy doing a bench press, and I like went up to ask him how many sets he has, right? And he like totally ignored me. And so I pressed him on the shoulder. And when I looked at him, he was like sitting crisscross applesauce, like right next to the bench, like sitting. He wasn't even sitting on the bench. And he was playing like Clash of Clans. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Are you serious? Yeah. Like you're here at the gym.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like disrespectful to like have like the bench, or was he like next to the bench and you wanted to use it, right?
He was legit like on like his back was against the bench press,
yeah,
crisscross applesauce,
yeah,
and just like legit like playing. His phone was sideways,
yeah.
He was like deep in it, and he had like headphones, like big like
listening
Dr. Dre beats,
yeah.
And I like
just on the
I
phone.
respectfully like went up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and I was like, "Yo, bro, like I can't, like I'm gonna work out here, like we can't. I'm not gonna come and play games. Like I'm trying to work out." He's like, I'm sorry. And so like I totally like. Because at the end of the day, maybe he's trying to escape from something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you never know where people are at.
That's what I mean. But still, like, you kind of have to know your like your surroundings. You know what I mean?
You're at the gym where, you know, people are there to work out, and you're at a certain section where somebody might want to use what you're doing, and instead you're not even working out. You're just like fucking on your phone the whole time.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fucking disrespectful.
So even though that I'm on my phone for music, I do kind of the same thing where like I put on
do not
silent,
disturb,
do not disturb, and I just change my music. But sometimes like you're kind of making me reevaluate like maybe like
what
my
happens?
music, because I'll switch my music and like I take some time like maybe finding the right song when I can just like
not have anything. That's what I mean. I would play music if I had my own gym. Like if I could have speakers that play music and I put my playlist on shuffle and put the music or put my phone like away, like I don't have to see it, then I'll fucking play music. I have no problem with that. There's nothing in my pocket. I don't go to the phone and then the music is on. There's nothing in my ears. Then it's fine. But until then, no music.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What did you do when COVID happened? Like, I don't know how big are you like in fitness? Like
I go around 4 to 5 times a week.
That's solid.
Solid, yeah.
So like when COVID hit and like 24, our spot.
Yeah, dude. That was tough. That was tough. I'm not gonna lie.
What did you do?
I had to go into like looking up how to do home workouts at first, right? Like what different things can I do at home? Like or first I think my dad ordered those resistance bands.
Dude, those are clutch.
Yeah. And so started doing the bare minimum, like putting it in between the doors and having it snap on me a few times, you know,
right in the face and shit.
Yeah. And yeah, it was miserable because at first you don't realize how much like the gym impacts your mental health.
Oh, most definitely.
You have no idea until it gets taken away from you.
Yeah.
And that's when it really affected me because, like I said, to us it's a meditation.
Yeah.
It's not. Yes, it works our physical body, but for me, it allows me to get to a place where I'm not focused on anything else. Yeah. Like I'm just now in the present moment. Right.
Clears your mind.
Clears your mind. Yeah. And when you get that hour of clearing your mind taken away from you and you're just in the same environment, your room, your house, you're just in this place, you feel miserable. You know, it's not great. And that's why I'm glad now that it's fucking over. Like everything's been going like back to normal.
Yeah.
And no masks and we get to talk to each other in person, which is also another thing. Like I had to do Zoom podcast for, I think around a year. I had to do a Zoom podcast.
I was asking you about that. Like,
yeah. And
what do you think the major, like, obviously you're looking through someone through a screen.
Yeah.
I know maybe it's not completely different, but was it easier? Was it more of a hassle?
It was easier in the sense that I didn't have to set all this shit up, right? That's the easy part.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as enjoyable. Cause
really?
This, like, we talked for like an hour before this, bro. Like we drove here together. That's the experience. Like getting this one-on-one interaction. You can't replicate this like on a screen where there's some type of energy here.
Yeah, the like presence of someone else.
Your energy, like something is here that cannot be replicated when you are in a different location and I'm in a different location and we're on a screen and you're just, you're looking at somebody through their phone or their iPad or their computer. Like it's not the same, right? There's something about a one-on-one conversation in person that you can't replicate at all. Yeah. It has to be just in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so so now I'm glad that that's back and it's been a fun time to just talk to people. Like I'm glad that I did it through the pandemic. I wouldn't have just stopped it and did nothing, because with the Zoom, I got to reach out to people that didn't live near here. So I had professors from like Harvard come on, right? Like I had MIT professors. I've had marine biologists have come on, right? Like that, those people I would have not normally been able to get, but because I sent an email out and said we could do it over Zoom and the times were good, we scheduled it and we just got on a Zoom call together and did it.
So there's definitely some positives.
There's definitely positives, yeah. But 10 out of 10 times would prefer this.
How would you like, do you think your mental health was beneficial during COVID, or do you think it was like an up and down roller coaster? I can't believe I would still be talking about COVID. Like it seems so far.
Yeah, it seems.
I mean, obviously we're still going to be prevalent in the times. Like it's not going anyway soon.
Mm-hmm.
But since I haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what you did and stuff.
Yeah, it was up and down for sure. But after a while, like your body becomes adapted to like the situation of what it is. Like you got to stay home. The masks are what you had to wear during that time. Like you just kind of adapt to it. And then start to find like positive things to think about instead of it, right? Like it's not normal to do all this shit, like, but everybody's dealing with it, right? Like I'm not the only one going through this shit. It's a whole worldwide pandemic. Like every country, every person is going through the same shit. And so when you realize that everybody's going through it, you understand that the only thing you could do is change the reaction. Like you said, with how your phone got stolen, like you just changed the reaction. You could have taken it to a bad place and got really frustrated and ruined the trip for everybody else. But instead you could, it is what it is, move on, move forward, roll with the punches and have a positive outlook.
At the end of the day, like you're the only one in control of like your own outcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes your outcome can affect other people. And so like going into that, like you don't want your household that you're staying at to be miserable. You know what I mean? Like, and most people were miserable. You know what I mean? Some people did have some positive aspects, but at the end of the day, like we need to be
I mean, at the end it was positive. Like going through it, like now it was a positive. Yeah. But during it, you don't feel the positive.
Oh yeah, I agree. And that's where like going back to the gym during COVID, because I was here, like when they kicked me out, kicked all of us out of school. I was like, I knew already like how much of an impact like working out was for me. So I was proactively like already like searching up equipment. And so right when heavy COVID hit, I went on OfferUp and I was able to grab a barbell and like 400 pounds of weight and like a squat rack with like a easy, or like the pulley systems, the up and down like a cable for like $1,000.
Really? All that stuff.
All that. Like 400 pounds of weight. Like that's money.
That's a lot.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I was straight, but I do wish like there's something else about, and it was in my garage. There's something else about like just going to the gym, because that feels like a release itself. Yeah. Because at home, I was home all the time. Like I saw 4 walls just staring at me all the time. Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Let me just go. I don't think I've ever walked so much in my life. And like, bro, you know how big I was in high school. Like my ass barely walked.
Having to walk for miles, Yeah. But that also clears your head. Yeah. There's these things, the physical and mental things that we did during those times. And some of it, we even do to this day, because it helped us so much. And it's a change of mindset for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that like during that time, because when was the start? It was like 2020, right? I was like, how would you summarize your 2020?
a blur. Like, I don't even.
A blur,
yeah,
really?
Like, it's just, 2 years went by so fast. Like, I don't even, it just, all the days felt the same.
Yeah.
You know, like nothing was special about it.
Yeah.
Like, except, like I went to Texas during 2020, like during the height of the pandemic, went to Texas with my cousins, and they didn't give a fuck. Like, it just felt like a different place, you know? Like,
no, yeah, definitely like the different areas of living, they handle it so much different.
So
or like
much different.
The beliefs are totally different. And it's like, you feel like almost like an outlier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You kind of understand their perspective, though. Like, of course, we're in a pandemic that during that time, like, everybody was going through rough shit. Like, there wasn't the vaccine. And so the best thing the government had was to lock down.
Yeah.
But the thing about lockdown is that it affects everybody.
Yep,
like,
I agree.
It
was rough.
Especially the businesses that now, like restaurants and, gyms, like they had to close down.
24-hour fitness, like,
almost went bankrupt, right? A lot of these businesses almost went bankrupt because of that mandate.
Yeah.
And that's not good. Like, and that's what the governor of Texas knew. That's what the governor of Florida knew. Like, they weren't saying keep the businesses open to kill people. Like, that's not what they wanted. Like, they just wanted these small businesses to survive through it, No,
I totally agree. Just some people don't recognize that, and some people think that like their way of living or like where they're at and like how their ideals are different. Mm-hmm. Like, it almost seems like if like people in California, right, locked down, like the governor had different beliefs of what we should be doing during COVID, and then Texas is different. But sometimes people just have to like kind of see it from a different view. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? People are so quick to judge these days. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, nobody knew at that point, like, what was the right move. Like, it's a fucking new thing. It's a virus. We don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah. Like, if you put me in like the decision board, like the highest decision, whatever you say, we'll do it. Right. If you put me in that position, I wouldn't know what the fuck to do. Like, and they're in that position
I wouldn't know either.
Of having to deal with millions of people telling them all these complaints. Everybody's has their own issues. Like, you're overwhelmed with what happens.
I think a lot of like political or like any high status leaders in the world, like people look at them and like judge them based on their like decision making.
Yeah.
But if people put themselves like in their shoes, like any decision that they make, they're going to get judged for. You know what I mean? Not everyone's going to agree with you, but like, you don't know like what it takes to like make that decision and like what they've done to like, what kind of work they've done to get there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you kind of have to put yourself in people's shoes. Like, you'll never know what they're dealing with fully. Nobody will ever know what I'm going through, and I'm never going to be able to tell what anybody else is going through. But the best thing you could do is just empathize.
Yep.
And understand that everybody has their own shit and love them no matter what. Like, you just be kind. That's it. That's all you could do.
Yep.
In any situation.
I totally agree.
Right. Like, it's a lot of times we get like super focused on ourselves that we forget like all these other people have their own lives too. Like, they're all dealing with shit too.
Yeah.
Right. Like, every single human being has different ideas and places they want to go in their life. And you just had to understand that.
Yep.
Right. Like, it
takes a mature conversation like this to kind of like get it across people, because some people will never even recognize that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like, you kind of want to go about it, like letting people know to kind of like understand people and like what they've dealt with.
Yeah.
But some people just never like get a hint. And you want to tell people, but like in a respectful manner and like not come off like disrespectful, like, oh, like you need to see their side like right away. Like you're doing something wrong. More like kind of like educate them.
Yeah. Understand other people's belief, and also come up with your own conclusions.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's something that Jim Rohn always used to say. He's a speaker, or he used to be a speaker, and that means come up with your own conclusions means even if somebody comes up to you and talks to you about any subject and you disagree with them, that doesn't mean that you should tell them that they're wrong.
Or they're a bad person.
Yeah, that they're a bad person or make any kind of judgment with them. Understand it, but don't just like throw your belief in like, I believe this way or I don't believe this way, but ponder the ideas for what they are and then come up with your own conclusion, right? That's how it is. And that's how you like communicate with people effectively communicate with people. Cause like you said, nobody's, like everybody has their own different opinions in life, right? And not everybody is going to agree with you. Not everybody's going to like you. And you had to deal with that. And the best way to deal with that is understand that all you could do is focus on your own reaction to it instead of how can I change this person or how can I make this person think different? No, just accept it for what they are. Let them teach you things. Like maybe you didn't learn about that side, but now you get to learn about it. That's all it is.
I totally agree, man. You couldn't have said it better than me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of that has, or I say this as like a fucking 21-year-old college student, but a lot of the top government officials in this country don't talk and think like this.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's because some people have this like egotistical status where like they think that like their beliefs are the only ones that should be like prioritized.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the world is big.
The world is big, yeah.
The world's huge. And like people come from different cultures, people come from different backgrounds. You know what I mean? Like people are gonna be who they want to be.
Yeah.
And who you gonna tell to like be a different person based on like you thinking that your belief is the best one out there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think everybody, no matter what opinion you have, there will be people that agree and disagree. Like there's always going to be that yin and yang. Like there's always some type of contrast.
Life would be boring as hell if there was no arguments or anything. It's like if you're in a relationship, you know what I mean? You know, like, I mean, there's some weird people out there.
Yeah.
But like when you get in an argument and like that connection back and trying like to understand each other, it usually like helps out a relationship. I'm not saying it has to be like, I'm just talking about any relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think with anything, like you said, with muscles, like we talk about,
yes, sir.
Your kinesiology major and like, that's how muscles grow is if it's torn apart.
Break down muscle fibers.
You had to break it down. Like there's a contrast to it, but that same breakdown creates the growth.
Yep.
Right. It's how everything works. Like you
bro, these analogies are going crazy right now.
Yeah. I mean, every storm creates a rainbow, like all this shit.
So going back to 2020, I not trying to get all emotional and stuff, but I had 2 big losses. Like, and I never felt like a family loss. I never really I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
My grandma passed away and then it was, I believe, October of 2020. And then my dog, I think I've shown you him before.
Maybe.
His name was Max, and he's a blue-nosed pit. And he passed away 2 months later, bro.
Wow.
It was people think to sympathize with me now, but those losses, because I never dealt with it before, I did handle it kind of bad. And I kind of blocked myself off from the world.
During that time. Yeah.
During that time. And I was like, fuck 2020. 20 is the worst year ever. COVID. I had these losses. But I look back at it now and it's kind of doing that same thing. I went through calm before the storm. No, not calm before the storm, but the storm comes and there's a rainbow.
There's a rainbow.
A rainbow come out of it.
It all happens for a reason. I think Steve Jobs said you can only connect the dots backwards, not forwards.
Yeah.
And that's something big too. In the moment we get all frustrated. If you're on this new venture and you're not seeing the results right away, or you're in a relationship that's struggling, you might not see the benefits of it, of trying or of changing things up or doing something different until the result comes. It takes months, maybe years to see the benefit of what had to happen. Right?
I automatically think about like my clients because they get so discouraged when they don't see like physical results right away just from training. And I'm like, yo, it takes time. You know what I mean? Like, even though you feel like you're putting in the work, patience is key. And it might not be tomorrow, you know what I mean? But if you stay consistent to like putting in the work and making sure that like you're structured, down the line, you're going to see a difference. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jim Rohn also used to say this that I fucking love is you can't get to a 30-year place overnight. You can't get to a 30-year destination in 2 weeks, but you can change direction. So you might not be able to get there right away. Like you might not be able to get the result right away, but you can face that direction and take the first step. Yeah. That's what some people don't understand is that they want the result, but if you understand that you can get the result if you just start walking in that direction. If you just start one step, you're out of shape. You know, you've been wanting to work out. People have been telling you to work out. The doctors are telling you to, you know, you got to change your lifestyle. Things aren't looking good right now.
They get discouraged because they know that there's an outcome. Yeah. And they feel like the time to put in is like so much that they use it as like avoidance. You know what I mean? When you should kind of, I don't want to tell people how to like look at it, but if you look at it like optimistically and know that like every day you're going to get better and better, that's so much better for your path. You know what I'm saying?
That instead of doing it only for the result, you're doing it for the process.
The journey.
Yeah. The journey. Yeah. That's how anything gets done, right? Yeah. Like if we just do it for the result, I don't think you'll work as hard. Yeah. Right. Like you just won't put energy, even if it's like for your business, if you want to do like $10 million in sales, but all you're looking at is that number 10 million. Like you just want to see that number on your computer one time. Yeah. Right. Like, yes, that's a good goal to have. Like you should set goals, set high standards for yourself, but you'll miss the enjoyment of the actual process to get there. Yep. And that's the fun part. Like if it was, sometimes I think about like, what if it was all handed to me? Like, what if it was just like, I snapped once and everything I wanted was already here. Like I didn't even know how to do anything. It was just boom. Like this is the life. Like,
would you even know everything. How to like live life? Yeah.
It just wouldn't be fun. Yeah. Cause the journey is the fun. Like the getting there, like for example, this podcast, I wanted to do a podcast for months before this, or months before I started it actually. Right. And
I'm still shocked that you're even doing this.
Really? Well, yeah. Since high school.
Senior year of high school, did you think like, I thought you were personally shy. Like we were cool. Like you would talk to me, but like
I wasn't the person that would
do
go
like
out
it's life changing. Yeah. Sham is a monster now.
Yeah. I mean, I changed, bro. Yeah. Like, and
time. It's crazy how like 3 years, the journey, you know what I mean? And like, you can just see like same thing, kind of comparing it. Like it's the process. Like definitely for me, I would say like, it's been more like a mental maturity process. Obviously physical too. I went from like 285, like senior year of high school, fresh off football to like football's not even like in my path no more. Yeah. It's like revolved about fitness and like not even kind of worrying about weight or whatever, but like just like that journey of like discovering like what I want to do with my life, stuff like that. It's made me almost like appreciate the journey more.
The journey, yeah. Because each step like kind of gets you closer. Like even if it's the down days and the downturns in your life, that also teaches you different things. Like it puts you in a mental state.
It does suck in the beginning though. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
It does suck, but it puts you in a state that you wouldn't get normally. Like if everything's good, you wouldn't get to that state of having to change. Like usually the only times people change is when they have to kind of like things are so bad. Like the literally like the worst day or the what you might think is the worst possible day of your life, looking back, you're going to think that's the best day because that brought the change. Like that kind of made it happen.
I can't see that now.
Yeah.
But maybe down the line.
Down the line,
you know what I mean?
I know Tony Robbins, he used to like talk about it all the time where he's a motivational speaker. He's Anthony Robbins. Have you heard of that? Tony Robbins?
I think Anthony Robbins.
Yeah.
Rings a bell.
Yeah. He's a motivational speaker, and he told this story of like one of the worst days of his life was when it was Thanksgiving and his family was dirt broke, like they didn't have money at all, and here they were just in their apartment with no food whatsoever. And that same day, like that during that night, some guy knocked on their door and they opened it, and it was this guy from the church that said, you know, somebody's been looking after you, and I wanted to bring you this turkey for Thanksgiving, and you could have it with your family. And Tony's dad was like just in a bad mood that day, and he felt like he didn't need any handouts, and he just closed the door on him. But the guy's foot was in the way of the door being shut, and he propped it up even more, and he said to his dad, don't let your ego get in the way of your family, right? And their well-being. And that changed. Like Tony was like a kid, like 10 years old, looking at this and being in that miserable state of, this is how my family's situation is. Might have been the worst day ever. But from that incident happening, he got motivated to do the same, right? Like to give back to people.
He gives back to like lower poverty families.
Yeah.
No way.
If I tell you, I think he's donated over 1 billion meals, 1 billion meals. And, you know, of course now he's very successful. Like his net worth, like $7 billion.
Wow.
He's just a successful person that has worked through every adversity manageable. Like he's crazy how his life changed, how from that negative state of where he grew up, his environment was negative. People around him were negative. But through that, he found something in himself to reach for positivity. And over the long run, like 60 years go by, and he changed his life, and he's helped inspire other people now, right? Like he shares that story with people on stage. He shares ideas that he's learned. He's written down books and shares the information.
That kind of goes back to like where you said like the journey, right? It might like, it leads you might go into like a different direction.
Yeah.
But you'll still land in like the same spot. Is that what you said, right?
Or what, or the destination part?
Yeah.
Okay. You
destination. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't change.
I'm learning.
You can't change destination overnight, but you can change direction.
Yeah. And he just probably changed his direction. Yeah. And now he's like, that experience that he had when he was younger, it like impacted his life. And now he's like literally like his experience. That's what he's doing for a living now. Yeah.
Now it's something that's a part of him. Like that one experience inspired him to give back to other people. Like what he told himself, like whenever I have the money to give back, I'll give back. Whatever it is, like it doesn't have to be like billions of dollars. He started when he made a few $1,000s. He gave back. Like he started giving back like maybe 10 turkeys one year when he had that much money to give back. Then the next year, 100 turkeys, then 200. Then he started a charity that started doing this, and it just grew from there. Right.
Passion too, huh?
Yeah. Passion. Yeah. I mean, that's what inspires it, is something. I mean, positive things inspire it too, but a negative thing happening to you kind of puts your brain in like this hyperdrive state of like, I got to do something to change. And
have you gone through that at all? Through your like, have you had an experience like that?
Not that bad, but like, of course, like negative things.
Not like the whole, like not fully going through the same process, but kind of like changing direction and kind of like.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it was from, I mean, the first thing was knowing that I have to like grow up, right? Like as a kid, you're just, going through school, doing the same thing. But as you get older, you realize like nobody's going to do this shit for me. Like you come to a point where you realize nobody's going to help me on this life. Like I had to decide for myself what I want to do. Nobody's here to give it to me on a silver platter. I had to figure it out. I have to become a better person. Like I had to change. And that's what kicked it. And I think, you know who Gary Vee is?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like the first person I randomly found his profile on Instagram. I think it was one of his ads at 15 years old. Right. So that was like my freshman year of college or freshman year of high school. And, I randomly found that profile. And for some reason, like it was an ad. I usually scroll through ads. You never stop at an ad, right? So for some reason, that video stopped me and I listened to it. And I clicked his profile and I followed it. I don't know why. Something told me to listen to this guy's content. And for a good year, like from 15 to 16, like that message of all the positivity, how to look at things, awareness, self-awareness, all this stuff started drilling into my mind. I was listening to him constantly. And that's what changed for me.
That's dope, man.
Like a lot of my outlook was
crazy how one person can like inspire so many.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For me, going back to like how, what was his name? Anthony
Robbins. Yeah. Tony Robbins.
Yeah. I would say I kind of went through the same experience because like growing up, I was always like the big kid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still big. Like I just transferred, like I kind of just like transitioned my life a little bit. And I never got like guidance. Like I always got like I kind of got like teased and fun up, but like by your friends, you know what I mean? Nothing crazy, but like it's cool. Like you hang around, like in high school, bro. That's how like we bonded and stuff. You know what I mean? Like the football team, like we were like making jokes and stuff. But like later, you're like, oh damn, man, maybe I like want to like change my lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some people don't know the steps too. Like they don't know how to take those initial steps to like make a change.
Yeah. That's one of the hardest things is the ignorance, not knowing how to.
That's what I mean.
Stops a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
And, I'm grateful that things just came into my life. Like I had no idea who Gary Vee was, but for some reason that came into my life at that point, which led me down to search better ideas. Like I think your mind works like a program, right? And the more I don't
want to be looked at as a robot.
No. Like your mind, the brain itself. It's like they say a lot of what you do, like 90% of what you do is subconscious, right? So that means the way you brush your teeth and how you go to the bathroom and the drive you take. You kind of just do it subconsciously. You don't really think about starting your car. Like it's
naturally like a routine.
A routine, yeah, that's built like such a built-in habit that you've developed, and people have the same thing with thoughts.
Yeah.
So if you're feeding your mind negative thoughts, you're watching the news 24/7, all you're hearing about is murders and killings and robberies and all this different shit about negativity.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying to never watch the news, but limit it because that's what it's feeding you. You got to understand what you're putting in.
It's so true because like, even though it's kind of sad, like obviously the world, like there's negative parts, but there's also good parts too.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that for the news, negative publicity gets more attention. Which sucks.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Like we don't want to spend positivity in this world, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just for some reason it's louder. Like it gets people. It's easier to be negative.
Turns more heads.
It's easier to be negative.
Yeah.
It's harder to be positive.
Yeah.
And I mean the positive, like the results from the positive is what everybody wants. Like everybody wants to be happy, fulfilled, living a good life. Everybody wants the results of it. but very few people do the stuff that's required. Like there's some steps to get to the results. And it starts with understanding how your mind works. And your mind works like I said, the subconscious is a big part of it. What you feed it every day, the ingredients you feed it, the thoughts you feed it are what impact it the most. So if you're feeding it, you know, it's kind of like the soil. Like if you plant seeds, right? If you plant if you plant negative thoughts, that's what's going to come up, right? Like that's what's going to show up in your world. If you plant positive thoughts and start thinking that more, that's what's going to show up in your world. So it's about a transition from negative and what your environment is to now focus. Like you had to consciously think about the positive things. It's hard at first. Like it's really difficult. But sooner than later, the positive thing is what is going to come up first. Like if anything negative happens to you, you won't even go to the negative thought. It won't even come up to you. Like if your car breaks down, you're not going to be frustrated. You're going to say this happened for a reason because you've just programmed it to think that. Like that connection in your brain is so wired that it only thinks positive. Like it only goes to that way of thinking.
Over time, you just have to like engrave it in your head.
Yeah, train it.
You called it what? Programming, huh?
Program.
Yeah.
You got to program your mind.
That's crazy.
To do whatever. And it's like the best computer in the world. Like it's so
Shyam, I'm gonna drop out of school and just go to education Shyam.
Yeah. Dude, cool. All this shit I learned on YouTube. So you could go to YouTube University and go.
I need to take a break from like gym videos and like maybe like understand a little bit more.
I'll send you a few videos that you should watch. And
you sent me the one on DM already, right?
On what? I sent you about this kinesiologist, Dr. Andy Galpin.
That's right.
Yeah, I've had him on the podcast. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, he's a genius, man. Like he's fucking obsessed about kinesiology and muscles and the development. Like if you see his Instagram, that's all he talks about.
Yeah.
Like, and that's also one of the things is finding, I know people say like find your passion and shit, but like that's also a big part is finding what you love, finding what you're obsessed about. Like if there's something that gives you like goosebumps when you talk about it because you're so excited, like it just gives you this feeling unlike anything else, that thing is what you were born to do. Like that's your path. Like you're just so excited about it. Like that's all you could think about.
Look forward to doing it every day.
Look forward to it.
I don't know. I mean, obviously people have to do what they have to do, but for the future, I'm manifesting it right now. I'm going to do something that I wake up every day and like look forward. Because like, it's probably one of the worst feelings. And it's a majority of people wake up every morning like, oh my God, I have to do this 9 to 5. Like,
yeah,
that's not a good way to like go into the work and like make people more productive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to go into work having a positive mindset, knowing you're going to impact people's life some way, somehow. You know what I mean? Even if it's like, it's not personal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just, you're doing it and you know that it's impacting people, but you're also proud of yourself. Like you're also happy for yourself that you're on this journey and you enjoy the process of it. Like that's the best part.
Yeah.
Is and once you have that, like the thing, that you came here to do, it's, you just had to never veer off like that feeling.
Yeah.
It's once it gets you, like you can't, it's hard to, I mean, I think the biggest thing is fear, right? Like fear stops a lot of people in their tracks. And one of the best things that I've heard is like, it's an illusion. Fear is just an illusion because just as you learn to walk, like at one point you might've been, as a baby, you might've been afraid to walk, but now it's just something you do. And same thing with any other thing that you have a fear of now. Right now, you might be afraid of it, but if you take a chance and do it, one day it's going to be normal to you.
You have to address it head on.
Yeah, head on.
Because the more you put it in the back burner, the more I feel like the fear increases.
Yeah. And it's going to be even more pain, like more suffering.
Yeah.
Because the universe is basically telling you, you have to do this shit. And I'm going to make you pay until you do it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll give you an example. Like it's not like a crazy fear, but like a lot of people our age right now, they want to go skydiving. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if the universe is telling me to do it, but like this is kind of an example. I don't know. Like I want to do it, but like I'm not even scared of heights. There's just something about dropping from
falling
the damn space.
Yeah.
That's scary as hell. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't know. Like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes like I need to address it, and like if I want to do it, commit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I keep putting it on the back burner, then I probably might not end up doing it.
Yeah.
But maybe that goes into like saying that like since I do have like a little bit of motivation to do it, that I need to like
go out and do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skydiving's fucking crazy though.
Would you ever do it?
I would do it. Yeah. I know. You know who Connor is? Connor Cribble. He went to VP.
I think it rings a bell.
Connor. Yeah. He lives in Hawaii, and he did.
Do you know Simon DiCaprio?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, I think they're friends. My bad.
Okay. Yeah. And he, I believe he's a skydiving instructor or something.
No way.
But he's done over like 100 jumps skydiving. And I remember the first time he went skydiving, and he was like fucking excited. And like one of the first times he did it by himself, like with no person behind you, right? Like you're the one pulling the chute and everything. One of the first times, maybe the second time he did it, like he had a malfunction. And you want me to help you with that?
I think I'm good. Yeah, straight. Thanks, bro. My bad.
Yeah, he had like some type of malfunction with the parachute, and it like landed in some or he landed like in some trees or some shit.
The guy from VP.
Yeah. And that could have, you know, he luckily he came out pretty fine from that incident, but that incident might have deterred a lot of people from continuing to pursue skydiving, right? But for some reason, he came out of it, and of course, you know, you might have some fear on the next thing, like the next jump, but he kept on doing it and kept on doing it. And
was this like, do you know if it was his first couple of times doing it?
Yeah, it was like one of the first few times.
No way.
Yeah. By himself jumping out.
That takes a lot of balls to keep going.
To keep going.
Because if it's like your initial time, some people can get like scarred.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's basically, it's a near-death experience of falling and then having something happen to you like that. And something in him just told him to keep going. Like, and now he's at like I think over 100 plus jumps.
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy.
Do you know him personally?
I knew him well during senior year. He was in a few of my classes.
Got you.
Yeah. And he moved to Hawaii. I think he went there for college, but then he dropped out and then decided like he was going to pursue YouTube and do skydiving. And he has a great YouTube channel. He does vlogs and shit.
Quick plug. Plug.
Yeah. Check him out. I think, I've had him on the podcast too.
Oh, damn.
But it was during 2020, so it was over Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
that's the ultimate goal. Like retire in Hawaii. That'd be cool.
Have you been there?
I have. I've been lucky enough to like. I went with the football team in high school. But like I've been there like 3 or 4 times with my family. Yeah. There's something about like.
Here, bring this up actually. Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
There's something about like the green over there that just hits different.
Yeah, it's like a rainforest.
It's like super peaceful, you know, and like the community and the people are like super nice, and the food too. Bro, like, I go crazy with the food. Like right now, like if I really wanted to, my natural like body weight would be like 20, 30 pounds more.
Really?
Because like I naturally like want to eat. You know what I mean? So if I was to go in Hawaii, I know how to get huge, dude. Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe let's go like when you retire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's not worth it right now.
I haven't even got like a career job yet.
Yeah.
And I'm already thinking about retirement.
Retire.
Where would you?
Huh?
Do you have like a spot that you would go?
Like retire?
Or stay wherever?
Or stay. Maybe like somewhere in Europe.
You're a little foreign
like
guy.
Italy or some shit.
Yeah.
Maybe for like a few months. But for me, like I can't, maybe when I'm older, I like traveling. So I can't really like live in like one place for too long. I want to have like multiple houses, like live in California for a few months and then live somewhere else a few months and kind of do that.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, because I like traveling.
Yeah, that would be like, and then like rent out the houses that like you're not at, like Airbnb, and just like get an income from that, bro. That's smart as hell. Yeah, I would love to do that too.
Yeah, I
just haven't thought that far down. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
But for me, like, I want to do something that I never have to retire from, like because I feel I don't like not doing things, you know? Like I don't want to retire and then just do nothing and sit at home all day, you know? Like that's not what I want.
No, hell no. I think like when I think about retirement, I just think like maybe you put a little bit more like emphasis on your personal life. Yeah. So if that means a small move to like Hawaii, you know what I mean? Just like when you're not working. Yeah. Like sit on the beach a little bit more, you know what I mean? But still do like what you want to do. Yeah. Yeah. Like impact people's lives, that contribute to anything.
Yeah. Activity.
That would be amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think, you got to have that. And as you get older, what I've heard from a lot of people is that you think of mortality a lot more. You think of death a lot more. Like once you get to that like 50 mark, you know, you just, it's there. Like it smiles at you and it fucking tells you, you know, what's coming up next, bro. Yeah. You know, like,
I don't want to turn 50 now, bro.
All you could do is just like smile back. That's all you could do. Yeah. Cause
you gotta keep, that's another thing too. Like people try to like do all these procedures or not procedures, but like these kind of like steps to do like anti-aging. Yeah, yeah. Like they try to avoid like aging
physically. Yeah.
For me, I feel like that ruins your whole like journey and like history or like your whole memories of life. I feel like you're held back. You know what I mean? When you should just like
trying to go back to things.
Yeah. Or just like live your life. You know what I mean? Like you know, like this death is the end outcome. Yeah. But like just try to like live it without trying to like hold back so much. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Would you agree? I mean, you don't have to agree.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, of course you should exercise and like be as healthy as you can during this time. But yeah, we all know that what's the outcome is. Yeah. It's the same for everybody. Like there's not one person here that's alive from 200 years ago. Yeah. Not one single human being. Mm-hmm. And 200 years from now, there's not going to be anybody else left here. Like,
I remember when I was 10 years old, I was in the car with my mom. Mm-hmm. And I think like the Christian radio music was on or something. Yeah, yeah. And they were talking about like how like, oh, everyone passes away, right? Yeah. And I'm 10 and I'm like, Mom, there's no way. There's no way. I'm staying alive. Like I'll go in like a chamber and like just chill, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. But I was like freaking out. And then like she kind of had a conversation with me when I was 10. Yeah. And I was freaking
what'd she tell you?
She basically said like everyone, like that's the path for everyone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like you can't fight mortality. Yeah, you can't. You know what I'm saying? And so like it took me a little bit of a while, but like at the end of the day.
But I think having like I wouldn't want to have it any other way because that gives you value. Like you if you never died, this life wouldn't be valuable. You know? Yeah. Like it's just if you could like live forever, you wouldn't take any risk. You wouldn't take like any chance because you just know that, oh, well, you know, I could, but I'm comfortable here and I'm going to live forever. But when there's like a deadline that you never know when you're going to go, that should I take this flight and see this new country that I really want to go to see? Should I do it? Maybe you'll do it. And you just book that ticket and go there because you know that you're going to die. Like that's that kind of drives you in a way.
No, it's true.
Right. Like
a driving factor is like sometimes needed.
Yeah. You need that.
Yeah.
Right. Or else you'll just live in the comfort zone all day.
Yeah.
And it's not a good place to be.
I feel like I hear this all the time. My mom,
Uh-huh.
she helps me out a lot. Get comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
Cause like I get like, not a pet, maybe a pet peeve, but like awkwardness or not awkwardness, or like when someone feels like they're not like involved, you know what I mean? Like when someone feels like they're kind of like stranded, they're not involved with like a group, or like you feel like you're kind of like pushed off to the side.
Yeah. The outcast,
I always make sure, cause me growing up, like I felt that sometimes, you know what I mean? So now what I do is like, any times where I see someone, homies, no matter like who it is, like clients, coworkers, even if you don't really like, you're not super close with them, you still want them to like feel good about themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Some people, they're just at a different place and you never know, like you saying hi to them or having any type of interaction, what that might do to inspire them.
That's true.
Right. Like, because then they look up to you, and when they're in a better place, they might do the same thing to another person.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes like the death conversation, like it gets taken into like a dark place, but I always like to think of it as a benefit of how that we don't have all the time in the world. So might as well make the best of it, You never know when you're going to go. And like there are a few things that you just know that you have to do before you die. Like there's just over time you get to live, you get to have different experiences, and you just learn like I only have fucking, what is it? I'm 20 years old. Maybe I got 60 years, maybe I got more than that. Like, and when you see somebody that's like young and that passes away, right? Like that they're our age. Like, Pop Smoke was, I think, 20 years old when he passed?
Yo,
21?
Real quick, fun fact. I was in the Bahamas when Pop Smoke went to the Bahamas like 2 weeks before.
Really?
He passed away.
Wow.
I didn't know who he was at the time.
You saw him though?
He was like, he was getting food at like with the hotel.
Yeah.
And then the worker was like, "Oh, you a basketball player?" He was like, "Nah, I get money."
I get money.
I swear. I'm like, all right, who's this guy? This guy, he had like 3 chains, like Cuban links, like 4 inches wide, like thick as hell.
Really?
I'm like, who the hell is this guy? You know what I mean? and then literally 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, young rapper Pop Smoke like passes away.
Yeah.
And I like go on his Instagram and I see like his flight to the Bahamas, and it was legit like the same like week we went.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that
was him.
That guy stayed at my hotel. Wow. And I was like, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah.
My bad, but keep going.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, with him and a lot of young guys, like when you see the potential that guy had, right? Like the potential of him to become a superstar and the rap game and in the music industry, but his time was cut short. But even within that time, he's done so much to impact the world and to get the success, and so you never know when you're gonna go, but at the same time, just be fortunate, like be grateful, and have fun. Like that's all you could really do.
Yep.
It's just have fun.
For me, I definitely want to have fun.
Yeah.
But still be productive.
Yeah. You gotta have a balance.
Yeah.
For sure.
Sometimes it can be hard. You know what I mean? I definitely say, like I was telling you like earlier, this 3rd year due to like COVID and then like me getting like adapted like to a new environment with school. This year is probably the first year like in college where it's kind of like the first time like balancing like having a good time.
Yeah.
And then like being productive. Like I got a new job. You know what I mean? Like I'm starting to take these internships to start my career.
Yeah.
And it can be draining. It can be tough, but at the same time, like it's never been more fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know how to, I can't really explain it that well. Like you feel productive and then like you feel it's like almost like
it's paying off or
it's paying off.
Yeah.
It's super dope.
Yeah. I remember we were talking in the car about how your first year was really stressful and you were adapting to your environment and things weren't looking good. And yeah, it's a transition like through from one environment and now you're like in a completely different situation.
Yeah.
And in the moment you didn't realize that if you just kept on walking, kept on going down the path, that it would end up to something better, you know? Right. And like in 3 years, a lot fucking changes, you know, like 3 years after high school, like I'm not the same person. You know, I look back on me in high school and I'm like, I don't even think like that anymore. Like I'm not, I don't even hang out with the same people. Like I'm just a different individual.
I agree.
And I think that's important. Like if you're the same in high school than you are like, you know, 10 years down the line, then what the fuck have you been doing? You know,
I feel like your morals can kind of stick to the same, but like you kind of like decision making, or I mean that kind of has to do with morals, but basically like
you just experience more.
Yeah, your experiences kind of change you and like the way you live your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's kind of goes into like saying like how you don't hang out with the same people. Like I can tell you're way more comfortable like talking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
100+ episodes like down. You
got it down. You know what I mean? Motivating me over here, giving me some chills. It's super cool. And I would kind of say the same thing for me. Like, I don't think I would be able to have like a mature conversation like this. You know what I mean? Or just like talk about like carry a conversation that doesn't have to do with just like one topic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like kind of like
and that you could have different perspectives. Like
exactly.
Even though like somebody might think different from me, like I could still listen to them.
Exactly.
And have them speak. Like there's no need for me to cancel them and restrict them. Just listen to them. Maybe I'll believe in what they say, maybe not. But let it just be.
I totally agree because it's kind of disappointing, but I think high school Noah probably had that mentality of like, oh, you don't believe in me, or like you don't have the same morals as me. All right, I'm not gonna mess with you. Like you're not a cool person. Like it's crazy. Like what time is like
the biggest teacher.
Is like a gift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully like me and you, everyone living in this world, we just keep progressing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's what I think we're all here for. Is to experience. That's it. Like there's not one thing that we all have to do. It's just like the meaning of life is what you put the meaning towards, right? And it's not restricted by anybody else unless you give them the opportunity to, unless you make other people around you, your parents, your friends, your, society, you give them permission to control you in a way of this is how I have to act and this is what I have to do because this is what everybody else is doing. But instead, if you make your own choices and your own decisions on how you want to be as a person, then you could go out into the world and inspire other people to do the same.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like whenever I see or whenever I talk about these things and then I see the comments that on social media about like clips I post, and they're always people telling me like, oh wait, I never even thought about that. And now their brain is, thinking about it, like they're pondering, and that might make a change for them. That one quote or something I said or something somebody else said, and then they teach it on to somebody else, and so on, so forth. And
it's like you pass down knowledge to generations and generations, and that's what I kind of want to do. Like going into like, like being like any type of fitness kind of mentor. Yeah. Because when you wanted to know the knowledge, you know what I mean? It might not have not been there. So now like, it's almost like kind of the same thing.
You want to do it for other people.
Yep. And like the knowledge is there now. Like go ahead now, take your time to grasp it, and then keep spreading it so life is a little bit easier for people. Keep kind of like,
yeah, definitely. Do you want to start a YouTube channel or anything for fitness?
So speaking on that, that's a good question. I'm not a big social media guy.
Yeah.
Like I never was. I think it was maybe like an insecurity thing, like coming up. But
because I say that because I know a lot of people nowadays, like there are a lot of people posting about fitness and doing that, and it's really helpful. Like I look up to those people and learn stuff about working out and stretching and stuff that I might have not been aware of, but now it's being brought to me by people that have knowledge about it.
No, for sure. They're like, that's definitely beneficial for that. You know what I mean? And I kind of want to do that, but I don't want to take on like that topic of like a influencer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to be there for like people that maybe aren't able to be on social media, like the people that like, you know, maybe like an older demographic, because it doesn't matter how old you are, where you come from, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be that guy that you can lean on just for a little bit of motivation and like a little bit of knowledge to like give you the tools to like feel a little bit more confident about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even, you know, like some people look for like a certain like physique, you know what I mean? Or some people look like to get like these certain goals, you know what I mean? But sometimes like if you go into the gym and know like these proper tools, you'll end up falling in love with it and like not look at those goals anymore like as a priority and just fall in love with like basically like we were saying, like just finding yourself, like, you know what I mean? Because it can be mentally challenging, and sometimes that can like help with like situations you deal with in life. You know what I mean? But going back to that social media thing, I think I definitely want to like progress it. You know what I mean? Open it up.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll help my business too.
Yeah.
But I want to be open to like all demographics.
Yeah, just not just being like a fitness YouTuber that only like 20-year-old college students listen to.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I don't want to make that like my job. I kind of want to like go into something where I can see people like kind of like, bro, it's kind of crazy how everything's like coming together, like that one-on-one. You know what I mean? That's what like I kind of want to do. I don't really like know exactly. Like right now I'm playing, like I said, PE teacher.
I mean, it's all about figuring it out.
Yeah. And so I'm on the right track. You know what I mean? And I'm going to figure it out. But I know that like I'm going to hustle and I'm going to put the work in to get it done. Yeah. There's so many parts to it. Like the unknown is a scary thing. The unknown. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Just looking at it, like you never know what's going to happen. Like you have these expectations as a human being. We have the ability to see what we want to do in the future.
Yeah.
We have that. It's a good thing to have. Like, I don't think any other animal has that, but it comes with the fear of what if it doesn't, you know, like all those fears start to come in, and that's a tough thing to be, or that's a tough place to be. And now like after listening to people and understanding why that is, I've understood that the fear is there to benefit me in a way, because if it wasn't there, I wouldn't know what to work on in myself.
True.
Because the only place you have fear is in what you're lacking. Like like I said before, like you're not afraid of walking. You're not afraid of shooting a basketball. Like these aren't things that are fearful to you because you've done it so many times. But the things that are new to you, you're going to have to build courage. You're going to have to build faith. These are different things that you had to work on inside for you to not be afraid of it anymore. And it's a fucking hard, long process. Like
how do you feel about that? Like I don't know if it's a motto or a quote. It's like, set low expectations. I think it's like Zendaya says it in like Spider-Man or something. Set low expectations so you won't be disappointed.
No, I don't agree with that. And I say that because there's a quote by Les Brown. He said, "Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you'll still be among the stars." So even if you don't make it, like even if you set high expectations and don't make it,
would you say all aspect? My bad. And like all aspects of life, you think?
By expectations, what do you mean? Like exactly like expectations of how like your life's gonna work out, or
I would just say like
family or whatever.
Yeah, I would kind of say like the family aspect, the life aspect. Like,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like for me personally, like I have to have a vision of my life.
Yeah.
Right? Like you gotta have, for me, I have to have an image of what it is. And once I get the image, then I just start believing in it. And when you start believing in it, you'll see things just start to happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like this podcast came into existence because I started to see myself already doing it.
Yeah.
And like if you don't set goals that are big, it won't change you. Like you wouldn't want to do it. Like you had to do something that gets you fucking excited as fuck. Like if you're not hyped up every day, like all you can think about, all your YouTube searches are about that thing. You're just super ingrained into this area of your life. Like whatever vision it is, whatever, if it's fitness, if it's being a chef, if it's basketball, if it's anything, right? Like you got to be so obsessed with it that those goals just become reasonable. Like that's who I am. And you just take different steps towards it, and you'll fail a shit ton of times along the way, but you'll just be in a better place.
But it's going to get you closer.
It's going to get you closer. And it's not even about reaching it. It's who you become in the process. That's what I've learned.
The journey.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I totally agree when it comes to like who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
This is kind of like, I kind of look at it like that's like the like reasonable, like kind of like the ideals. Mm-hmm. What about if it's like, I'm looking at the funny part. Let's say you go to like the Laker game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you kind of
expected the team to win, right?
You expect them to like lose.
Okay.
So then if they win, like
you feel good. But like that's the joy of it, is for me personally, is if I expect them to win, like I want that journey of like, go make that shot, you know, like you're cheering them on and all this stuff. But if you have low expectations, you're like, even your body changes. Like, see how I thought of low expectations and my shoulders. Yeah. Shoulders like automatically just fell apart. Like your voice, there's something that happens when, if you're not in this joy place of life.
There's a certain word in it. I'm taking an interpersonal communication right now, mm-hmm. and I forgot the term, but it's like when you have negative thoughts, you act in a negative way. Yeah. Like your posture starts to like change, yeah, right? Your tone of voice,
everything, right? Your heart rate changes. Yeah. Like the way the way you think, like, and certain things, like, I think I've said this story before, but when I was in the gym and I was having a bad day and having negative thoughts, I didn't lift as much weight. Yeah. And the weights are the same. It's still 45. It's still 45 pounds, right? Like it's still the same weight. You could put on a scale. It's the same. But now that weight doesn't move as easy. Yep. Why is that? It's because it's in here. Yep. And, you know, a day later, I was in a better mood. You know, I was feeling good. That weight moved like nothing. Yes, sir. But, you know, and the only thing that changed, it wasn't the weight. It wasn't the environment. It wasn't anything else. It was in here. Mentality. Yeah. And how I thought about it.
You don't know how many times I've had that same thing happen to me. Yeah. And I've kind of learned through like several experiences, like you just have to take time to kind of program it.
Yeah, you got to program it.
Like I might be having a bad day, but at the end of the day, I don't want one negative thought to ruin my whole like workout or my whole entire experience. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like for me, how I do it, I put on some like Rod Wave. That's my boy.
Uh-huh, you know, yeah. Rod Wave. Yeah.
And I just like take a couple breaths and then like try to like almost like positive manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people think that's like, that doesn't work.
It does.
For me, it works so much.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I get motivated by it. Like if it's like to pick up, like get better, like have a more efficient workout, get my work done, like be a better like friend, son.
You have to, like, yeah, for me, like I go in the gym imagining beforehand, I imagine like how good of a workout it's going to be.
Yes, sir.
And then it is that great. And it's like even better than that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not really expectation. Expectation isn't the right word because it's believing in it now. Like it's just it's a confirmation of this is how it's going to be. This is going to, like, it's
reassurance.
Yeah. It's reassurance of this is the standard. And when you come with that faith in that vision, the universe just brings it to you because it's just, there's an energy that just knows this is what this guy wants. Okay, boom, you're going to have it that way. It's going to happen for you.
I kind of just wanted to see what your mindset was. Yeah. Because I've had like this conversation with some friends before. And a lot of people do say like, oh, like keep it. Again, I don't think it should be expectations. Yeah. Because that thrill or like that excitement you get from having low expectations, it might feel good for like a certain amount of time, but that journey of like shooting for the stars, there's nothing that beats it's way more fulfilling. Yeah, because even the lows are part of it. Like I said before, the yin and yang of it. Like you can't get hot, you can't get like really high joyful feeling if there wasn't a low. You wouldn't even know what that was. Yep. Like if you've never felt pain, you can't feel happiness. Yep. Because it would feel normal. Like it would just feel like a baseline feeling. Yep. It wouldn't be any better, any worse, because there's no better or worse. It's just is. Everything's just the same shit. Right? So when you understand or that way of thinking, right? Like of imagining your life and only thinking of or what was the word? Trying to think of a quote. I forget. It might come to me later. But just thinking about how good can my life get? You know, like what's the best possible scenario that can happen? Think more in that term. Like people always say, you know, or people always think about like what's the worst thing that can happen. And instead choose what's the best thing that can happen. And just always put your energy towards that, like anything. Like if you're looking for a car and you want this one specific car, instead of thinking about what's the worst thing that can happen, like you might not get that car, you might not have the money, all these thoughts start to come in. Instead, just think about what's the best thing. Oh, I get it. I have all the money. Everything works out perfectly. The guy even upgrades the tires for me for free. Like all this shit, instead of thinking about the negative, you just focus all on positive. It might take a little bit more time too, but you get what you expected.
Yeah. It's a better way to live, I think. For me, it's just you go through the world happier.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely have some like mindsets of like, oh, what's the worst thing that can happen? You know what I mean? And I think to a degree that like might be beneficial here and there in certain scenarios, but I definitely think shooting for the stars and having high expectations is the way to go.
That's the way to go.
Because at the end of the day, like you said, a loss helps you, like your rewards be so much greater. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like it's about who you become. Like there was like I mentioned Jim Rohn before, and he talks about how at 25 he had no goals. He had no goals for his life, and he met a person who became his mentor in a way, and this mentor was knowledgeable in a lot of ways, and he told Jim to write down some goals. And one of the first goals he told him to write was to become a millionaire, right? And that sounded good, like $1 million. Who wouldn't want
that sounds good.
$1 million, right? Like enough zeros to impress your accountant, right? And the next thing he said is, I'll tell you why. And Jim was like, you don't need to tell me why. Like $1 million, anybody would want $1 million. What's the why in having $1 million, right? And he said, well, I'll tell you. It's because it's what it makes of you to achieve it. The million, and it's not about the money. It's what it makes of you to have the money.
It like crafts the person you are.
It crafts the person, yes. Yeah. And Jim Rohn, he took that idea and he did become a millionaire. But at age 25, he was broke. And at age 30, he was a millionaire. And at age 31, he was broke again. But in that moment, he realized what his mentor said. It's not the money that mattered. It was who he became. Because after being broke again by making some decisions that weren't good financially, he became a millionaire again. Because that was the mindset he had. The money comes not because you go after it. Success isn't what you want. Success is who you are as an individual. It's something you attract by the person you become. And he knew that. And that's one of the biggest things is you had to have a millionaire mindset to become a millionaire.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yep.
And these are like simple ideas that are out there like this on YouTube. Like people are talking about this. All you have to do, and I'm glad I'm talking about it too, because all people had to do is learn about it, learn about these ideas.
So I feel like a lot of people, like if they were to hear that, it would definitely be beneficial. But I think having a successful mindset, right? It does take time.
Takes time.
Because you know what I mean? Like some people don't, like they need to build a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need to like experience more like productivity in their life to kind of like feel good about themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And confidence is a big thing. And that kind of goes to like what I want to do. Kind of want to inspire confidence in people. You know what I mean? Because that's the same thing, like pet peeve. Crazy how everything's just fucking connecting.
That's what this does.
Like feeling not included. You know what I mean? Having a little bit of confidence can make like your mental health better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like you can go around like pushing and like making it well known that like you have confidence. There's a difference between confidence and cockiness. You know what I mean? Confidence
being arrogant.
Yeah, confidence is within. You know what I mean?
That you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Yeah. You just know within yourself that I know who I am.
Yep. And once you find it, I feel like life can be, again, just so much rewarding. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then like you end up, for me, I was able to find it a little bit later than I wanted to, but it kind of helps me like, I want to promote it to others. So then they can just keep on.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like once you get it, you'll have it. Like you got to work on it.
No, you got to keep, you got to work. It's an everyday challenge.
It's every day.
There's days and you wake up every morning and like, you might have to like find the need to go out and find it. Yeah. But it's a challenge. It's almost like having kids. Yeah. Like it's a battle.
It's a battle. Yeah. It's a puzzle.
I don't know that personally, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's a puzzle. It's like a game that you had to kind of go out and play. Like you got to just, you never know what's going to happen to you, but you just figure it out. Like there's this, our feelings, I think, help us out a lot. Like whenever we don't feel good, we want to feel good. Yeah. And whenever we feel good, we think we're at peace and we're cool with it. And it's kind of like a thermostat in a way. Like if you set a temperature that's at 70 degrees and it's 75, it's going to start to cool it down. And that's the same with your feelings, right? Like if you're not feeling good, you're going to try to find a way to get to that optimal place, whatever it is.
Where it feels comfortable.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that. And what that leads to is the use of alcohol and drugs and all these outside substances to solve an inside problem. Like none of the outside shit is going to heal you. It's not going to make you happy, but it numbs you. It numbs you from the feeling.
That's kind of where like the fear comes into play, because you try to avoid. You know what I mean? And you put it on the back burner. By the end of the day, it's going to come creeping even harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you just abuse. And next thing you know, like, it's almost like that's like your norm now, to totally deflect it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you see any glimpse of that fear, you don't know how to handle it. You know what I mean?
There are plenty of people that go through that right now.
Yeah.
It's sad, you know, just to see those people that have chosen, not because they wanted to, but because they didn't know any better. Like, the reason I talk about this stuff is because I know how it's changed my life, but some people just don't get this knowledge. And that's why I do this podcast. That's why I talk about these things, is because if it just impacts one person, that they get this idea and it changes them, you know, how much better what their life would get because of this, you know?
Now I can totally see why you do this, bro. Cause like having a conversation like this, cause I listen to podcasts here and there, but like I've definitely been informed today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Deep, and it's a reminder. I thought we were like, we wouldn't, but it's just a reminder every day. Like, people go through struggles, you go through struggles, you know what I mean? And that's like kind of like, we both want to be like active in this world for like helpful agents to people, you know what I mean? And be productive in life, you know what I mean? And like,
because I think for me personally, I realized all you could do is give your life away. That's all you could do, because you came here with nothing and you will die with nothing. Like, you can't take any of this shit.
Yeah.
Like, that nothing is here for you to take and, okay, this is my gift bag. Okay, I'm out. Yeah. No, you like, all you're here is to like give your life away.
Yeah.
And then one day you're just going to check out, and that's it. Like, you'll never be in this body, like this body, this specific one with my name being Shyam Ronvelia. That's never going to happen ever again. And, shit, like, if that's the case, might as well give my life to whatever I feel is, whatever is calling me,
like a purpose.
To do it. Yeah.
Your purpose.
Yeah. Because I say calling because I don't know where ideas come from. You know, like, there's something about ideas that it seems like we don't think of them, but it's like planted. Like, it's planted to us, like different ideas at any given moment. Like, what makes you inspired? There's something that makes you inspired. Like, there's a moment where you're not inspired, and then there's a moment where you are inspired, and some idea came in that gave you a feeling that was positive, and therefore that caused an action that created a result. You know, it's crazy how it's done.
Crazy. Yeah, I would definitely say like, it's not planned. Ideas aren't planned. You know, and when you take the initiative to like promote one, it can either be a good or a bad thing, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be a game changer in who you are, and you can apply it to yourself, apply it to others, and see how like they can utilize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy how like there have been times where I wanted like creative ideas, like let's say for Instagram post that I want to do, like I have to have like some type of idea on what I want to create or put out there, right? And sometimes that wouldn't come. Like it just, there's no ideas whatsoever. Like, I'm blanking on everything. But now I've gotten to a place where I understand that it happens for a reason. Like, in that moment, I had to have blinked, because the next day something happened to me, an experience happened to me, a song I listened to that I really liked. And that I took the instrumental from that song, and then I found a clip from the podcast that I really liked, and then put those two together, and it had to happen that next day. You know, for some reason, it wasn't the day before, but the following day is when I had the creative ideas flowing. And
I think you can't tell me if you agree. You can't force ideas, but you can naturally find creativity. Yeah. And I feel like creativity then transitions to ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, or I don't know creativity. I think creativity is ideas, or do you feel it's separate?
No, I can see how it's associated, but like some people find like a distinct like idea to believe in, and like it's forceful, but like when they can naturally like just not for I guess you could say the same thing, but basically when you don't force ideas and you just like let your mind flow, you know what I mean? I feel like that's a better way to like find them.
Go through it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've talked to artists in the past, like KJ was here a few months ago and he told me the same thing.
That boy KJ.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a bit.
How he writes music and how he makes music. Like the ideas will just come and go. Like sometimes you're really creative and other times you're not. And you start to let go of needing creativity, like having to have it on demand and allowing it. Just allowing.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yep.
Yeah. Because that's when you get the best ideas. Like just randomly, you just get some random ideas, and it turns out like that was a real. And once you get the idea, what gets me excited is the process of fulfilling it. You know, like that's the best part is when I have an idea for something. Let's say like
start a business.
Yeah, start a business. Then you have the idea, and you start to go and research things about it. Like if you want to make a clothing brand, how do you make clothes? That's the first thing you Google. Like, how does that happen? Right? How do clothes get created? Then you reach out to people and maybe you learn some new things on, okay, this is how screen printing is done. Okay, this is how you ship them and all this different stuff. And that curve of creating, like that from the idea to the actual result, is the funnest part of life. That's like the best experiences, from idea to result and all the things that come with it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy how it happens. And I'm glad that we live in a time where it's easier than ever to turn ideas to reality. Like there's no other time in my opinion that you could do like any of this shit, you know, like 20 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do this podcast. Like it just wouldn't happen because I would have to get signed by like NBC or ABC or CBS, and they would have a production team and all this shit. And it wouldn't be like, nobody can just do this. Right. Like, so and you see that now, like with social media, you see how many clothing brands there are. You see people are creating shit like crazy because it's more accessible than ever. This internet thing changed the game where anybody can go out and create. And I'm telling you, there's more abundance than ever. Like one person's success doesn't deter anybody else's. It never.
People are quick to compare.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to let fluidity of others' ideas naturally lead them to their success. You know what I mean? Instead of comparing success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think you another person's way of doing it or their result has nothing to do with you. Like it's theirs. Like you should be inspired by it. Treat it as something to look up to, right? Like, but don't think that you had to do the same things that they did. You know, that's not how it works. But yeah, just there's so many fucking ways that people could go and take this thing. And I think it's going to increase even more, like that independent creators and people that have business ideas and creating things, it's just going to expand at another level, like continuing to do that. And there will be less people doing shit that they don't like.
Yep.
You know,
I feel like if I shoot for the stars and get to where my expectations are, and I take a longer journey doing it, I feel like it would be more impactful. Because then you look back and you're like, through all the like the ups and downs, you know what I mean? It kind of like, it changed me, and like it changed you for your result. You know what I mean? And I don't know if that journey can be replaced and like you can like compare it to someone else's, but just know that like your journey is like your individuality, you know what I mean? And your success is like your individuality. And like, that's the best thing for me, like having your life and living your life and like trying to like spread your knowledge. And if it's helpful for someone else's life, that's money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all you could really do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Is, yeah, like I said, give it all away.
Yes, sir.
Fucking crazy.
Yes, sir.
Let's see how long we've been going for, bro. Guess how long? Hour 45.
No way.
Yeah. This guy was so nervous beforehand, bro.
I was low key. I was like, what do I say, man?
Yeah. During the car ride, he was like, this is gonna be kind of crazy, but like that's the thing with these false expectations appearing real.
That's
fear.
true.
That's what that is, and it's just an illusion. Like you just never know like what it's gonna happen.
Hour 45. That's
how
crazy.
Fucking fun it's gonna be when instead you're thinking like, what if I mess up? What if like all your thoughts were on the negative, but just doing it and you realized, oh wait, it's not that bad.
Yeah, bro, you informed me so much like on like kind of motivational speaking a little bit. Shyam, you got it down, bro.
Okay,
like
thank
I
you.
mean, obviously we can always like progress, but I was like informed, and it's like a good reminder. Like obviously, like I kind of have that mentality too. We have like similar morals.
Yeah,
but it's a good reminder, and it kind of like it's beneficial.
Yeah,
to like go throughout your day, and you know what? This little bit of like knowledge that Shyam gave me today, kind of like
I'm gonna think about it.
It can boost me up to where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, just keep going.
Keep going. Yeah.
I hope like both of our careers, where we're heading, bro, like all we do is just keep progressing and keep spreading.
Yeah, keep impacting people, positive light to people that might not see it right now.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
And it's fucking always fun to do this. Like I finally understand what it means. Like when people say, I don't like it. It never feels like work to me. Like that, I've never understood that until I did this. Like this isn't work for me.
Yeah.
This is just like something that I fucking enjoy. Like to some people, like setting all this up, editing, if you tell them to do that, it won't be enjoyable because it's not who they are. Yeah. But for me, I found who I am.
Yeah.
And when you find it, like it's not work. Like none of this is work. I just have fun all day. Like this is the fucking amazing to do it. And I'm grateful. And I'm grateful to have you here, man. This is a fun conversation.
Appreciate you, bro. Hey, no more 3 years to just wait and like hang out. You know what I mean? I think for me, like we definitely just got to keep in touch. I know SD, it's only 2 hours away, man.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Do you mind, like, can I say something real quick on here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to say, like, for anyone that's going through stuff, like, in any type of life scenarios, asking for help, even though some people think that's like a weak-minded decision, it's not, you know? Like, can you kind of agree with that, man?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like, asking for help, like, I used to think that, like, that's having, like, a poor mindset. And, like, you know...
that you got to go get everything on your own.
Exactly.
You know,
like,
all this.
Asking for help can provide you the tools to keep going, like, and be that successor that you want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, like, I always just bring it back to me because I just hope that, like, I'm kind of manifesting it, you know? For people that, like, are having, like, not the greatest confidence or need those tools to, like, feel better about themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just ask for a little help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, go up to a mentor. Like, ask for, like, tips. You know what I mean?
I'll give you a tip right now. One of the biggest things that helped me with confidence is imagining what a confident person would be. Like, what would a confident person be like, right? And you know, would that person be talking low? Would they be quiet? No, they would talk and with projection in their voice. They would be confident in what they're gonna say, right? And I start to think of like all the little details that make up like confidence and internal like just basically love for yourself. Like that's the biggest thing. If you have love for
self-worth is one of the most important things you need to value in your life.
Because with that's like the base, right? Like, so if you don't have that, you can't even get like confidence.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's number one, like having love for yourself, no matter what. Like it doesn't matter where you're at. If life is good for you, if life is bad for you, like it's unconditional.
Yep.
Unconditional. Like that means no matter what happens, you still love yourself. Like it's never wavering. And that's something I've worked on a lot to get to that place.
Good for you, man.
But I know everybody could do it.
Yep.
If I could do it, anybody could do it.
And like, I'm not trying to say like I have the like elite confidence, because everyone goes through struggles every single day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But
it's building at it day by day, exactly. Week by week.
Knowing that like I can be a helpful hand for others just makes me feel like like I'm doing something with my life. And that's what I want to do. Yeah, that's, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what I want to do too.
Yes, sir. We're on the same page.
My guy, bro. My guy.
All right, we'll wrap this up. Thank you for coming by. This was really fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the conversation as well. And have a good week. Have a lovely day. And peace.